In this video, I'm going to mix a vocal together with a beat. It's a vocal laid down by one of Norway's most talented freestyle MCs. There's one vocal take and one stereo beat. The setup is quite simple. There are no backing vocals, no nothing, just straight spitting. And I'm going to show you how I go about mixing vocal to a beat. Let's dive into the session. Let's just take a look at what we have.
Om du lærer deg går du smart, så du kan dytte ned den kidden der som så på deg rart.
First impression, the beat was a bit higher at the start, so I lowered it a bit in volume, just turned it a bit down to hear the vocals. It's an okay take, it's very dynamic, there are no compression on the way in, no EQ on the way in, it was bare. It was recorded completely naked just through my UA preamps. These are as raw vocals as you can get them. The sound is okay because we did everything that we could in the recording stage to get as good a vocal take as possible, and you can check this video out to check out our process around that. But as you can see down there on the waveform, you can see there are some peaks and there are some dips, and that's the first thing I want to treat. But first of all, I want to export these two tracks, because if this had been a session with backing tracks and more artists and a hook and choruses and what have you, maybe cuts and scratches, there would have been too much to deal with in a raw session like this. I would need to use one of my templates, and you can also get those templates down in the description. I have linked them. You can just download them at will. Those are for Logic Pro though, but the principle remains. I have also made a video, you can check that out, where I go through the templates and I give you the breakdowns. You can make a template like this in Studio One, Pro Tools, Cubase and what have you. And let's just export then. Like so. All tracks to audio file, and I'll save that on my desktop in a new folder called export. And that was a quick export because there were no plugins going on. Okay, and now I will go to my templates and I will load up Subtractive Clean. I want it without anything. I prefer the clean template, and what I mean by clean is that there are no plugins attached to the templates. It's plugin free, as you can see. Here are some scents, but there are no plugins attached to them. Those are scents for different reverbs and delays and such, parallel channels. Now let's just find our document. When I drag this into the session, it's important that I leave them aligned like this and drag them together. If I drag them one by one, I have to fix it later. So I have the beat going in on the track called Stereo Beat, and I have my vocal track right here. I can erase all the instrument tracks. I can erase everything, instruments, take away that, and I'll pull my verse track down here, take away the drum loop track, and the hook and everything is also stuff I don't need. So I only have to worry about my stereo beat and the verse. Already there we are set. Let's name them, and I will call this verse, and then I right click here and name region by tracks, call it verse, and here also name region by tracks. And I'll just have to remember that it's 77 BPM. I'll have to do this. Not that it's absolutely necessary to do this, but if I put on some time-based effects later on, it's the best. When putting on time-based effects at a later point, it's practical to have the correct BPM. And also, if I want to move anything, if I want to take parts of the verse and put other places and such, you never know what you want to do when you are in the mixing session, because sometimes you step into the role of producer if needed. That's the real world. It's not ideal, but it's the real world. So the BPM is important. Coloring, press Alt-C, and then I will make my vocals green and the stereo beat can just remain blue. If I had many tracks right here, 12, 15, 20 tracks, coloring is more important, but I do it anyways to keep it in my motor memory. So here we are. The first thing I would like to do is clean up the track. I know that the stereo beat is clean, but I want to check out the verse. I'll just check the bass. I'll solo it out.
Tren på å bevege deg litt mer hver dag, så du kan peke bedre på lekene du vil ha. Smart, så du kan dytte ned i kidden der som Blir så enkelt å
Nice. There are no low-end rumble here, so there's no need for a high-pass filter. Okay, next up, I'll just leave that Pro Q standing there. Let's look at the waveform and listen.
Drit på deg før jeg sover noen timer.
So here we have some overlay, but they're not extreme. So it starts, let's see here, where it peaks here.
Sover noen timer.
14, and here it is.
Drit på deg før.
There's a difference about 5 dB. I think we can live with that. There are some extremes.
Lær dem å
This was a bit extreme. I can just lower this part here about a decibel or so. Maybe a 1.5. Listen.
dyr som sikkert dør om noen år. Lær dem masse ting du ikke kommer til
Here's a sharp K. I'll deal with those sharp sounds later. Here's something that looks extreme.
Gjør en rus til en nu. Gjør en rus til en nu. Nu som vane som du kan ta med.
This was a bit excessive. I'll lower this one, decibel. And here's something I'm curious about.
Og når du får en jobb så
I think I'll do 1.5 on this one. Here we go. And this here.
Daglig, vær tulling på vær.
Lower this by a decibel. And this here, I think.
Tull.
I think I can go 1.5.
Vær tulling på julebord.
And the compressor will take care of the rest later. And here are some quite low sounds.
Rett på alt, helt til
Take this up a bit.
du bader totalt, går til en psykolog som sier at det der normalt.
If you also turn up some of the words that come off as a bit low, there will be more clean and natural sounding end results. Let's continue. This looks okay. You don't want to fall into the trap of blindly following what the waveform tells you. The waveform gives you suggestions on things to act upon, but you don't want to follow them blindly. Even though something appears low level on the waveform, it might be psychoacoustically at a higher level. So you don't want to turn up something even more that is already okay. So you have to listen. Use your ears, as they say. Okay, let's just bounce this and see what happens. Now let's just compare to what we had before. We have a much cleaner waveform now. Not that a clean waveform should be the goal, but you see the compressor here doesn't need to deal with all those random peaks. Yeah, we'll just go with this one. If I want to do anything else, if I want to cut, paste, do other stuff at a later point, it's easier to have a whole region than having this chopped up region. So I prefer working with a whole region like this. So I'll just take away this. I have the original backed up in case, but I'll take my chances and I'll do this. Another thing that I notice, and what is going to be badly accentuated later on when compression and limiting is engaged, is the breathing and the bodily noises. So let's just go through and remove all those. Not remove the breaths. You want to have some breath, but you want only a little bit. You don't want the excessive
Drit på deg før du sover noen timer. Drikk melk, sovne igjen før du våkner og griner. Tren på
this one. There's actually a plugin for this from Izotope, which is called Deep Breath, the RX Deep Breath. But for the sake of it, if you have more time than money, this technique here is completely free, but you could always invest in the RX bundle. Take it down by 3 dB, this one here.
griner. Tren på å bevege deg litt mer hver dag, så du kan peke bedre på lekene du vil ha. Om du lærer deg å gå, er du smart.
This one was way too sharp, this K. Let's just take it down. I'll take it down by 9 dB and see what happens. This is a K. The pop filter should maybe have picked it up, but it didn't. Glad I did now. So it's still there. Let's expand it a bit. It's here now. Oh, it's acceptable, and with some fast attack compression later on, it will be smoothed out. Even though it doesn't seem high in volume, this one is. We can take it a bit down, 3 decibels. You see, I think that this worked.
Så kan du bære på alt, helt til du bærer totalt. Bare et år, så kan du bære på.
That's it. I have suppressed the breaths a bit. I didn't find any other bodily noises. I didn't find any bumps into the mic stand. So let's just bounce it again. Bounce in place. All of this effort and no processing at all. Let's listen to it.
Bryt håret før du sover noen timer. Drikk melk, sovn igjen før du våkner og griner. Tren på å bevege deg litt mer hver dag, så du kan peke bedre på.
Now I'm starting the processing, applying plugins to the vocals. To be dead honest with you, I think that's kind of scary because I know that everything that I do from now on, from this point on, can possibly affect the vocals in a negative way. I can introduce phase distortions, whatever artifacts that is not pleasable, but then again I have my ears, so I will listen along. But the most important thing is to not lose perspective and have some references going alongside. Now I'm going to search for some nasty frequencies. I don't hear anything from the get-go in the context of the mix, but it's like your eyes. I just went to check my eyes and I discovered that I need glasses. I have actually +1 on my eye, one eye, and so I see blurry, but I didn't know that I saw blurry until this professional showed me the difference with and without the glasses. It's the same way when it comes to the vocal. You hear it many times and then you don't notice that there are actually some bad frequencies poking out, and we can search for that now. Let's see. I hear some boxiness in the 500 area. I'll turn that down a bit, only using dynamic EQ, like so. 3.5 decibels, maybe 4.
Først finn den ene som tolererer å leve med deg, mens de vurderer om de fortjener noen bedre. Få et par barn.
A bit cleaner, I think. Let's move on. See what I do here? I just take the Q up a bit, sharper Q, and then I go to the listen function in Pro Q. Something sharp going on at 800. Turn that down as well. Okay, next up.
And
here I found the S's on 8.8K. Okay, I think that's it. Let's just turn those down as well. We'll go dynamic all the way. Let's just listen with and without. First we have without.
Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser og gi opp.
And with.
Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser og gi opp.
This one up here is only attenuating at the very end of this 2-bar part where he said interesser and where he used the S. This is actually a functional de-esser. I can unsharpen this Q a bit, and there we have actually a de-esser going as well. I haven't removed anything important, and I have suppressed some frequencies that might come across as a bit offending, but those are tiny moves. I like moves that are tiny, and many of them, but that depends on the situation. So this was the EQ. Now let's compress, and I like to start off with a simple compressor, so I used the Pro C2. I could also use my stock Logic compressor. There are also a million free plugins that will do this job.
Der finner deg noen nye interesser og gi opp. Så slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok. Der finner deg noen nye interesser og gi opp. Så slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok. Der finner deg noen nye interesser og gi opp. Så slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok.
About 4 to 7 dB of gain reduction depending on how loud the individual parts are. With the clean setting and with a fast attack and a quite fast release also, 90 milliseconds of release. I don't know. I'm not actually that number driven. I don't think, okay, I need 50 milliseconds of attack and 500 milliseconds of release. I don't think that way. I just tweak until I hear what sounds good. I use the first compressor to tame the peaks and make it more consistent sounding without crushing the dynamics, because you heard when I increased the threshold, I was starting to crush the dynamics too much, and then I had to back down. I was up in 13 decibels of gain reduction at most, and that's too much for this take at least.
Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser.
And now I'm working in solo without the beats. I like to hear everything in context, so let's listen.
Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser og gi opp. Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser og gi opp. Slutter å jobbe, så...
So already here, we are nearing completion, but we need something more. We need some coloring. Let's go to the palette and see what we can add. Let's see. I would like to try the Novatron from Kush. Let's hear what this has to offer now.
Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser og gi opp. Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser og gi opp. Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser og gi opp. Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser og gi opp. Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser og gi opp. Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser og gi opp. Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser og gi opp. Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser og gi opp. Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser og gi opp. Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser og gi opp. Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser og gi opp. Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser og gi opp. Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser og gi opp. Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser og gi opp. Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser.
Especially when tweaking compressors, gain stage all along, turn down or up the gain according to how the compressor affects the peak level of the volume. You can see here that it's peaking around minus 14 dB. It's quite low, but it doesn't matter. And when I applied the Novatron, it started playing up in the minus 8 decibels. And then I had to turn down the output gain. I could see on the arrow here that it was aligned with the incoming signal. So the incoming signal is the blue one and the outgoing is the yellow one.
Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser og gi opp. Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye...
Actually a bit lower, because when you want to A-B with and without the compressor to check what does the compressor actually do to the signal, it can't be quieter or louder in volume, because then you will be deceived by the loudness with and without.
Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser og gi opp. Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig...
Okay, so this Novatron is really coloring the heck out of the vocals. It's quite intrusive. I will make it a bit more subtle and use the wet dry knobs. Let's try it with the wet dry knob.
Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser og gi opp. Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser og gi opp. Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye...
Okay, I think I like it like that. It's about 50%. And this also have some saturation. Since it's there, why not just try that?
Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser og gi opp. Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser og gi opp. Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser og gi opp. Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til...
Okay, so the changes are subtle, and let's just check with and without the Novatron. Listen, without first.
Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser og gi opp. Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser og gi opp.
Just a side note, whenever the plugins has the oversampling ability, it might give a cleaner end result to the sound. Now, let's see if we can excite this a bit. I use a multiband compressor for this now.
Interesser å gi opp, så slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye.
And then let's just address the harshness with the S. There's some pops there going on. I'll use the transient master or the transient designer.
Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser å gi opp. Så slutter å jobbe, så har du
Okay, and let's control it even more with a limiter. I'll turn off the true peak. I'll do the oversampling, at least 4.
Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid.
I'll lower it down to what it was, 14, wasn't it? Minus 14. And
Jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser å gi opp. Så slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser å gi opp. Så slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser å gi opp. Så slutter å jobbe til å finne deg noen nye interesser å gi opp. Så slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser å gi opp. Så slutter å jobbe.
now some effects. Let's see if I can engage a reverb there then. Let's go crazy and use the Valhalla Vintage Verb. I like this to be a bit clean. I have enough character in the vocals. Now let's just play with the decay and the pre-delay and cut off some highs and lows. I'll use the room mode for this.
Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser å gi opp. Så slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser å gi opp. Så slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser å gi opp. Så slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser å gi opp. Så slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser å gi opp. Så slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser å gi opp. Så slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser.
Just give it a bit space around it. Very subtle though.
Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen.
And let's try some Vox Fatten. I'll use the Echo Boy for this. This is a delay plugin. Mix all the way up to wet. Echo time 1/8. I'll start with that at least. We'll do the cheap tape with a bit of saturation and a ping pong for now.
Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser å gi opp. Å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser å gi opp. Så slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid. Jobbe, så har...
Okay, I think I'll stop there. There are always more ways to go about it, and I could tweak into eternity, but time is of the essence now, and I think I've come to a decent result. I could have some Vox echo throws that would bow, sound places and such, but for now this is decent enough, and I'll just finish off by using the Trackspacer, which is one of my favorite tools for matching the vocal with the beat. And this actually eliminates a bit of the need for automation. It will make space for the vocals. What I do is I low cut a bit. This is actually a compressor that will compress and make the beat lower in volume in the frequencies that I have selected. So now I select about, let's see, 1000 Hertz up until 4 or 5000 Hertz, where the vocal lives and is most prominent. I will use the verse as the input. So whenever there are signals coming from the verse, the beat will be suppressed a bit in volume in the selected frequency range, which is this. I can go even further and use the mid-side mode and only do the mid. The sides of the beat won't be affected. You can hear it on the snare. It's quite ugly sounding, so only subtle, only subtle dips. I think this goes a long way. Let's hear.
Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser å gi opp. Så slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser å gi opp. Så slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne...
Okay, and the final thing is to add some compression to the beat and the verse. And I'll go down to my mix bus where everything is gathered. The mix bus is a bit hot right now because of the incoming loudness. So I'll just turn down, just do this for now. No, that's unprofessional. I'll engage a gain plugin right here to take it down 4 decibels on both. So this is 4 and this is also 4. We have some healthy peaks here. Let's do some compression. I'll use my stock compressor now. Slow attack, fast release ratio 1.5 to 1 or something. I'll just start off there.
Interesser å gi opp. Så slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye
So this way, the beat and the vocal is being compressed together. So whenever the kick or snare, the vocal will also be ducked a bit, making it sound like a more cohesive whole.
Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser å gi opp. Så slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser å gi.
Let's listen with and without the compressor.
Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser å gi opp. Så slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser å gi opp.
And finally, on the master, we'll just go with a limiter to top it off.
Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser å gi opp. Så slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen nye interesser å gi opp. Så slutter å jobbe, så har du interesser å gi opp.
Okay, and finally, let's just check the LUFS.
Slutter å jobbe, så har du endelig tid nok til å finne deg noen.
Okay, that's it.
Bryt håret før du sover noen timer. Drikk melk, sovne igjen før du våkner og griner. Tren på å bevege deg litt mer hver dag, så du kan peke bedre på lekene du vil ha. Bryt håret før du sover noen timer. Drikk melk, sovne igjen før du våkner og griner. Tren på å bevege deg litt mer hver dag, så du kan peke bedre på lekene du vil ha.
Did you find anything in this video that you think, aha, that's something I could apply to my own workflow? Let me know. And before you go, I think one of these videos might float your boat, so just check them out and I hope I catch you there. Peace!